rephrase it. So not only are we not subsidizing or funding the campaigning branch, but in fact, they are paying a service fee, and it's just as a matter of the ease of the operation. So I don't know if there's a way for Gareth to write this in a to effectively say this is the most, I suppose, efficient and economically sensible for the Brussels branch to maintain that membership fee arrangement through the fact that it's collected here by New Europeans UK because of the database. As we know, the challenge is that the reason they have to do it through New Europeans UK is because the direct debits, etc., have gone through New Europeans UK, and so it would have been a mess to have to ask people to redraft. I mean, it does, of course, suggest a link between the organizations, but I don't think, to me, that New Europeans UK is providing the same service that a bank would. So it's not it's just making it, I think, perhaps more explicit and kind of put it in the negative. So not only are we not funding a campaigning organization, but in fact we're just acting as an intermediary between those who fund the organization and the organization. So I don't know how best to phrase it. Yeah, and on the green card, yeah, it is tricky. I don't know. I mean, it's to me, it is really at the core of helping vulnerable people to if that campaign had been successful. I mean, obviously, had there been physical proof, that would have made life significantly easier. And it's not something that only us say, right? It's been really a point made across the piece, even though the government rejected it. The problem is that the government rejected it, and the problem is that it was put forward through Parliament in ultimately political ways. And so I don't know, I'm probably inclined to be risk averse on this. That's my hunch, simply because they're so sensitive to anything that we do that reeks of any sort of campaigning.
Yeah,
it seems to me. I think those are my views. Hello, hi, Eileen. I think you're still muted.
I put the recording on just in case I need to look back at it, but we don't need to. I hope that's okay. Just keeping a record for ourselves in case we need it.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hi, Eileen.
Hello.
I was just saying, kind of in short, on two of the points, like on the relations between the UK, the New Europeans UK, and the Brussels-based organization. I said that I liked Roxana's idea of having a table with the board members, but I also said I agree that we should actually, rather than being apologetic, actually try to minimize talking about the other organization, talk about New Europeans UK primarily, and to the extent there is a mention, I would only make a negative mention, in the sense of saying not only are we not funding New Europeans, the Brussels branch, but we are acting as an intermediary in collecting funds for them, and for that we charge them a fee in the same way a commercial provider would have, and it's the economically and administratively efficient way to do it, is to do it through us, but that's the only really reason it's done through us. I mean, as we know, it's not the only reason, but for a pragmatic perspective, for the Charity Commission, I think it is. And then the second thing I said was, Roger asked me to comment on was on the green card, and I said that whether we should include it or not. I said on the one hand, it's an obvious point of potential assistance to vulnerable EU citizens, and so it's at the core of what we do. But equally, it's become a political football. The government's rejected it, even though everybody else pretty much in Parliament supported it, and other organizations supported it. And so I would be quite risk averse and probably not not talk about it, sadly. I mean, at this stage. I'm not wedded to this because it's obviously Rogers also personally, not only was involved in this, but received prizes. Right? I mean, it's a significant some project that we've undertaken. So it's you'd be remiss not to mention it, but there are also risks with mentioning it, I suppose. Sorry for bombarding, just as you enter, but I just have at 6:30 I have to leave, so I want to hear what you have to say. So, Roger, obviously.
Roger's on mute.
Sorry, let me just respond to that. I'm very open to taking the green card out. I think for me, it was sort of, 50-50 as it is for you, Ruvi. I had another look at it again. It's true, we just refer to when we first suggested the idea back in 2017, 16, 17. But since then, you're right, there's been a lot of politics around it. And I think the attention is also, I mean, the main driver for the green card now is trying to persuade the Commission and coming from the ARSBL. So I think we should drop it. I think it'd be a shame to drop both awards. I think we should leave the other award in there. The Kennedy Foundation right to stay. The government did that in the end. It gave unilateral guarantees in the form of the USS. So, and that, that's also something that links very much with your contribution about the need for unilateral guarantees. So I think a good compromise would be to leave the right to stay award in there and drop the green card. At the table, I can do, and that's fine. And Roxanne will be pleased about that. And I think it's, that's great, no problem. I will amend accordingly. The way I have things left things with Gareth is I should make amendments, send it to him, and I've got another meeting with him tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And I've got the letter ready to show you on screen share. I know Eileen was, one of the points that Eileen was, the other point I agree with, I think Ruvi and I are on the same page with that, and that's also come very strongly from Tamara, which I think was very helpful, not to over-egg the explanation about the relationship between New Europeans UK. Yep, and we can do that. We can call it NE-UK, and the other one, SPL. That's easy to do. I'll make those changes. Less is more, less, what does less is more? What does that mean? It means less detail is more clarity. And,
exactly.
So you'll see that I think we can just take whole chunks out in that section. And I think the point I'll just bring Eileen in while you're still on the call. Point that Eileen was talking about was really about the style, the tone of the letter, use of the second person or the third person, basically how we pitch it. Roxana made a lot of points as well, those were detailed points. I think just on Roxana's points, I pushed a lot of those back because I think that we don't want to go make it sound as we're sort of being terribly nice to them or go down on bended knee to them or feel that we need to sort of overpromise. We don't need to sort of pledge that we'll never ever, in a sort of blood pact that we will never ever campaign again. I don't think we need to do that. I think that's, and I think also we can trust Gareth's judgment on this a bit more. And I think Gareth has, I mean, okay, Roxana was fairly critical, that's fine. But I think Gareth has actually, got his head round a lot of complicated stuff rather quickly, and details we can always fill in. That he didn't have the details when he did the draft. But I think we want to onboard as much as we can of everybody really. But I think that I think this is a judgment call. It doesn't sound nice to start a sentence with because, but it can have some impact. Patti Smith's wonderful song "Because the Night." It's a question of, is it going to do the job we want it to do, rather than is it going to get a kind of alpha plus in an exam? So that's my feeling. I think it's not that Roxana's wrong. I just think there's a judgment to be made about the impact that this letter is going to be make and the way to get and the way to achieve that. I'm going to shut up now and let Eileen come in, because I think Eileen's point is similar. Do we serve this up as you and this in a sort of chatty, friendly, personal way, or should it be a bit more neutral? And I think that the way to answer that question is to think about, well, how do we maximize the impact of this particular letter? Because it's all about context. There could be different contexts where entirely wrong to write it in that style. maybe for this, that's the thing to do. I don't know the answer. That's why it's really good that we have this discussion. Eileen.
I really don't know. I just find the style a little bit unusual. That's all. Even if he is acting on our behalf, I think we can still. I think the content of the answers are fine, Roger, and just to have a sharper summary of the points. You can wind in the stuff about the urgency, but we don't need that paragraph about urgency, as I said.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
I think it's really about answering the questions that they presented to us. If Gareth has a good relationship with the guy and is sure of that, then yes. But I just find it a bit strange, Then you I can't remember. It just caught my eye when I was reading it.
I'll ask. I think the only thing I can say on is I'll have to ask him about that tomorrow morning. I say it's been raised, and what's his view? And I think it's a justice judgment on it, but I think it is right to challenge it.
It's not a huge thing. I mean, it just says status of the present application. You ask why a fresh application has been made. It's just, I just find it very unusual style, but even if we are friendly with somebody,
I'll ask him that and see what he says. He may say, "Oh, yeah, Eileen's right. I'll change it," or he may say, "No, that's a very deliberate choice that I've made for this reason."
Yeah. If you could just check on that, the content's fine, I think.
Can we just discuss the point? I mean, it's an interesting one. Why would you take the urgency out? Because I thought what he did with the urgency point was to I suppose to highlight the relevance of our work and why it's critical for vulnerable EU citizens. So it of course runs the risk whenever you say I need it urgently, there's like, well, but you've got all these other projects that are currently running and you've got them running without charitable status, so why do you need it urgently? Could be the obvious response. So I can see the problem also with urgency, but I thought he drafted it that bit quite well, because he illustrated them, just what the material benefits could be for having early recognition. So, but I'm also open, like as I said, I can see actually a counter argument as well. So I don't know if what kind of pushed you to think that we should take it out?
No, I didn't think completely take it out, Rufy. I just didn't think it was a specific header. Select header.
Oh, I see.
The points are relevant, but if you could wind them into your original answers, into the answers, and then also reinstate that in the summary. Do you see what I mean?
Right. That I agree with entirely. Also, I don't love the title urgency either.
Yeah. Did you know me?
I thought the concrete points that he made, perhaps one different way of phrasing it is just including it in an earlier heading. I'm just thinking where some of this material would work best. Perhaps when one talks about the different projects, the activities, etc., could have a winding down element in section 3 that talks about why these projects particularly matter at this time or something. And then that implicitly suggests that there is an urgency, but rather than effectively, I agree, it's a bit bolshy in the way it's written. It's kind of saying, well, it's going to be on your head if you don't approve this quickly, and that may be a bit off-putting as well. So I agree. If your point is about style, absolutely.
That's the point, really. It's not to leave out the content of it, but not to make specific.
Yeah. Very helpful. Very helpful. Great. I think that I can make those changes and just tell Gareth that's fine. That will save me time in the conversation tomorrow. That's very helpful exchange. Thank you. Mikhail is here.
Hi, Mikhail. Mikhail, I have to leave sadly in 5 minutes, and I'll be keen to hear if you have any substantive comments on the draft.
I'll be honest with you, Rovi, I would love to add something. I had absolutely no time to read anything. It has been really heavy last couple of weeks. I just wanted really to come and say hello to everyone, say well done, say keep up the good work, and we are there. We have to, we have to stay strong, and keep
Yeah.
plodding along, never giving up.
Yeah. Well, we're trying.
Yep, we I think we tick all the boxes there. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's a little bit tired. Just finished one meeting, so this year has been quite challenging for for
Yeah.
everyone as well, work-wise, outside of work, family, and I've been really super busy as well, and I feel that in the last couple of weeks I wasn't able to give Europeans as much as attention as I would have liked. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Roger as well. Next week, my last day is Wednesday, so I'm looking forward to having a little break as well. Just to kind of try to chill, relax, and
It's great that you're here. Let me spend the last 2 minutes with Ruvi just to say then, so I can screen share, I can show you what's happening with the letter. I think this is it. Screen shares, hope I can, yeah, this is it. So can you see that?
yeah, very well.
So
Yeah.
I've got a Word version and I'm going through making those changes. And I'll carry on doing that tonight. So I go back up to the top. I can just scroll right down to the bottom and show you where we've been. Most of the attention has been here, Mikhail, around, just striking out some of the more complicated things that invite more questions than they answer about the relationship between the two organizations, making that shorter. We're going to change the abbreviation, going to be NE-UK. I put it in as NE-UK, but I'll change it to NE-UK. And I'm going to take out this, this has got to just be the summary, hasn't it? This is, and maybe needs a slight rewrite. But basically, we're going to start the summary more or less from here. That was the point, wasn't it? Rather than have a separate, because the urgency doesn't touch on the merit of the case. It just pushes him into making a quicker decision. I think that's really, really, really important point. Okay, and I might need to adjust that a little bit as well. But yes, I agree. I think he makes those arguments quite well about the urgency, and it kind of fits with the rest of the story, because the whole process, including now, has been conditioned by the uncertainty around Brexit. And so the way that the uncertainty around Brexit plays into this now is that they should make a quick decision, because we want to meet the needs of EU citizens, and the needs are about to get even greater. So I think it's consistent with the rest of the story we're telling, which is that the reason that we've had to make all these changes is to accommodate to the changing situation of Brexit. And where we are in that process now is hurry up and give us charitable status. And it seems to me entirely with the flow of the argument.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, exactly. Roger, okay, so concretely, are you going to circulate something to us before you?
I'll try and get it done tonight and sent around tonight. So I don't like sending emails late at night, but I think we're a bit of an emergency with this, so I'll have to. And I'm meeting Gareth at 10 tomorrow, and then we'll put it round again. Well, maybe I can put it round after I've spoken to him.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think in terms of efficiency, people probably won't be able to read and revert to you, and you'll revert. So it's best if you and him talk through your revised draft, agree something, and then comes back to us for
exactly.
And probably, I mean, this is obviously entirely urgent in the real sense of the word urgency, because we need to send it by Friday, right? So just give us until close of play on Thursday to come back with any substantive comments.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Otherwise, if there are minor comments, then I think at that stage,
that's fine. I said to Gareth, I thought we'd have to get him to send it for midday on Friday, probably the way things were going.
Yeah,
so that's fine. So we can give you till the end of tomorrow. And then if somebody wakes up on Friday morning and goes, oh God, I suddenly thought of something desperate, we're hoping to send it by midday on Friday. That's
that's okay. But but great work.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Hopefully it will be good. See you, everyone.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care. Bye. Bye. I'm going to hang on for Roxana, who I think is coming in shortly, but unless you particularly like to say, or you can stay, don't worry. Roxana couldn't make it for 6, but I think she's going to join at 6:30. But I'm happy just to talk, chat to her about what we've discussed. So, but that's why I'm not switching it off. And we're recording it so that Avilia can keep and do the minutes on Christmas Day instead of having to do it at 3 o'clock this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Roger. That's going to be, I wake up on Christmas. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I promise.
I can see that she's over the moon. Look, Roger, you know,
Yeah.
she has nothing else planned. Nothing else planned.
Yeah, nothing else planned. Nothing.
Actually, this time is quite true. I mean, considering COVID, there is nothing to do anyway. So every day is the same as the others.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you know that we won a prize. I didn't know we won an award. Tom Jackson Wood won a prize for his film about Northern Ireland that we helped with. But he very, very nicely put on the promo for it, you know, supported by New Europeans. And he's been very good. I mean, I remember tapping him on the shoulder about 18 months ago. Saying, remember to say thank you to Eileen and Jade. He's really taken it to heart. And now I took my eye off it. When I suddenly noticed, I thought on Twitter, you were thanks to the Europeans. It's fantastic. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. He's won 2 awards at the European Short Film Festival. And we really need to make a fuss of that. And he's been promoting it as, you know, supported. Well, we did support it, but he didn't need to do that. But he has done that entirely unprompted, I have to say. And it's lovely. And I think we need to make a fuss of them. So it's just, we've all got so much going on. And I don't know, I haven't figured out yet how to watch the film. So I hope so. I don't know whether you've seen it. It's obviously very good. So we should have a special screening. Well, we'll think about it. But I mean, that's, you know, I want to talk to you about that, Eileen. But it's great news, isn't it? I put it in the newsletter this week. Probably saw it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah,
Film.
I'm making
The Audience Award and the Best Short Documentary at the European Short Film Festival. And it's about Northern Ireland and Brexit. I mean, and it's got Europeans all over it. I mean, what more do you want? It's great.
Yeah.
Europeans Ireland, eh? Yeah. They're the ones to watch.
No,
it's good, Eileen, isn't it? It's really nice.
No, it was good. I mean, it took a long time in the making of it, you know, from one year to the next. But no, I have to say it's Tom's determination.
Yeah, great. Good for him.
It was a bit I call it bizarre. It was started off, but no. I mean, he had me at one stage filming him in Royal Avenue down the main street of Belfast. I was the camera woman. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, but this is how it's done. This is how great victories are won.
The second thing is Tom's disability doesn't stop him. But it was a learning curve for me working with him. And then I forgot to say, did you ever see his wheels on his wheelchair?
No.
Yeah, I met him. He came to our AGM years ago. We got a lovely photo of him in his wheelchair, of course, and with James Beckles, and it's when Bianca was still with us, a couple of other people. It's a lovely, lovely photo. I have to dig it out. Yeah, it's great. A lot of very positive energy in that man. It's nice. We need to do something else.
Taking off for him in the theatre awards. I'm glad to know. And then he's contacted one of our colleagues, you know, here in Northern Ireland. So, both, you know, having talks about disability.
Yeah.
So really interesting.
Yeah. Well,
right.
Don't let me keep you from other things that you need to do, I'm sure. But it's lovely to see you all, as always. What a nice board we have that's coming together. Well, we're going to meet on the 11th of January, aren't we? That's our next, is that right, Avilia? That's the next date. And don't forget, we're doing this vigil on the 31st of December.
Okay.
I will respond to that email. I saw it. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you may not want to hear from me on the 31st of December. I don't blame you. But you might want to make a pre-recorded message to mark the passing of free movement along the lines of what is meant for you, your family, your community.
Roger, I definitely will do it, because I mean, I absolutely, it's big thing for me, to be
And
honest
we'll
with you.
weave it together into this, what we hope is a 12-hour tapestry of testimonies, a kind of a vigil to free movement. It may end up being a bit shorter than 12 hours. What we might then do is, because I think there's quite a lot of people saying, why don't you carry on? Why don't you do it once a month, every month next year, so that it's not like the end of the road? But
Yes, yeah.
But anyway, we need lots and lots of content. So if you want to be, you can do as much as you like. You can make a 1-hour speech, Michael, if you want to. On
No, I'm too shy, Roger. No, I'm too shy.
There's
No.
a thing called Radio Radicali. A video laughs. She knows
Wow.
what it is today.
I will do it. I will do it.
People
I will do
come
it in Polish, English, Italian, and Croatian.
I
You
think
know.
that would be great. And we can
Oh, that
switch it
would be
on, and people
wonderful.
go, "What the hell's this?" and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And you switch it off, you switch it on again, and you think, "Oh, I wonder what they're talking about now."
Yeah.
And that's what it'll be. You know, people switch it on, listen to it for 10 minutes, then they'll switch it on a few hours later to see if we're still there. And we will be.
Okay.
So whatever you say, whatever, you know, as much or as little as you like. Same with you, Eileen, same with, you know, anything you can think of. If there are people in the community or from a con or anybody else wants to do anything, I don't want to put anybody under any pressure. It's been a tough year. It's the Christmas, New Year period, but we do want to mark that day, and we ask, we go down fighting.
Yeah, no, I love the idea. I didn't have a chance to respond to the email yet, but I definitely will be doing it.
Thank
if
you.
you're okay with it, 100%.
Right.
Avilia, when the deadline for us to send all the recording? As soon as possible, I would imagine, yeah? Or
I'll be working,
I'll do it early next week if that's okay with you, because I'm working until Wednesday and I really want to have a little break. Yeah?
All right. Yeah, sure. I mean, I work on the weekends anyway, so usually when I am most active is, you know, you have a week every time, you know, you can think of it like that.
Okay, that's fine.
That is the advantage, so yes.
Very good.
No, that's fine.
We're thinking of giving Avilia the day off on Boxing Day. I don't know if it's
no.
an idea.
No, I mean, I think the most important thing is if we have to put it together, then we need at least like a week to put it together. So I would say, you know, maybe one week earlier at least.
It's
latest.
not even. I'm not a filmmaker, but I can tell you, I've done quite a few projects with filming companies as well, and it's not even recording, it's just then putting everything together as well, editing as well and stuff like that. So you need easily a week.
Exactly. So just to be sure.
Roger, just to tell you very quickly, last week Eileen as well, you know, Eileen's so good, she always responds to everything so quickly as well on Facebook and stuff like that. I posted something about this conference last week.
Setting us up for a fall now.
She deserves a reward, you know, like a prize for being, you know, so prompt. Roger as well, you are amazing as well. Again, always an email and then 5 minutes later respond. Huh?
We're Liverpool. We pass the ball around.
Yeah. No, what I want to say to you is, you remember I told you about this conference, you know, which I had to moderate in Italian, which was really interesting. It was translated simultaneously in 7 languages, 225 people, and then 15 time zones. So funny. On Friday last week, I was thinking I'm going to explode. Not only my brain, everything. I was thinking I'm going to die. Oh my goodness! You know, it was just incredible.
Congratulations! That's fantastic.
Excellent.
4 months of planning.
Organised out of the kitchen, out of Letizia de la Torre's.
And then because she was the president of the Movement for Politics and Unity until last year, and then I was kind of, you know, elected as a board member as well. But you know, it's incredible. But you see, I think I also have learned a lot from you know, some of the stuff we've been doing as well. You know, some of our online events as well. They have been so well attended. You know, so it's Zoom in a way. I love social interaction. I love being with people physically. Okay, you know, I love hugging people. You know, Zoom is not the same. However, you know, there is no way you would get 300 people in a room, you know, from 10 or 15 different time zones as well. So online technology has a lot of advantages, and so we have to utilize it. And I think we're doing quite well in terms of engaging public and audience online.
Fantastic. We're thinking a lot, I think I mentioned it before, about what happens when the COVID restrictions start to come off.
Yes.
And I think we want to learn a lot from this time when we've been online. And we want to start thinking about hybrid events. So not just say, okay, nothing online anymore, not go from one extreme to the other, but try and find a balance, because I think you're absolutely right. You lose something online, but you gain a lot as well. So we think about what we've gained and how can we keep that when we all go back face to face again, and try and come up with a sort of hybrid model that allows us to do both things at the same time.
I don't know, this is only a suggestion, Roger, because I think you know, things won't change that quickly. I don't think. I think in Britain, in particular, I think we might end up, you know, having another lockdown. But, you know, if we have a moment in January or February, we could almost, you know, dedicate, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes, or like, you know, blue sky thinking, you know, 45 minutes, just to kind of talk about those kind of things and decide maybe what would be the best way to plan our future activities, which combine stuff online and stuff, you know, in reality. Basically, I think it's really good to be ahead of the game as well and start thinking about it now.
Great idea. And January, February will be time to do it, because
yes, exactly right.
We really pick up momentum again. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
guys, I'm going. See you soon. Be good.
Thanks.
You know, keep smiling. Have a lovely Christmas, festive season. You know, try to have a little rest. No Polish vodka. Drink tea. Rest, sleep, read books. Plenty of, you know, walking. And then I'm sure they will be in touch in the next couple of weeks.
We're recording this. I'm going to put this into my electronic Christmas cards.
Yeah, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.